Top U.S. officials are now openly worried. Will Edward Snowden defect?
Does he have a relationship with a foreign government, and is there more to this story? Clearly there is. We're going to make sure that there's a thorough scrub of what his China connections are.
A former senior NSA official and a former CIA officer told me the Chinese government has likely at least made contact with Edward Snowden. One analyst says over the past few days, it's looked more and more like someone is shaping Snowden's behavior, possibly the Guardian newspaper, maybe the Chinese. So what kind of information does he have? To hear him brag about it to the Guardian, besides the NSA's telephone surveillance and internet monitoring programs?
I had access to, the full rosters of everyone working at the NSA, the entire intelligence community, and undercover assets all around the world, the locations of every station we have, what their missions are, and so forth.
Senior U.S. officials say they doubt Snowden really has all that information. Snowden has said his intent was not to harm the U.S. But former CIA officer Robert Baer says there's no doubt he's being closely watched.
You and I cannot hide in Hong Kong. It's impossible. Chinese intelligence has that place riddled with sources, people, cooperative police, the rest of it. It's impossible to hide in Hong Kong.
Baer says because of that, there's little chance the CIA could capture Snowden through some secret rendition or other method, even if they wanted to. Snowden told a Hong Kong newspaper that the U.S. government has been hacking into computers in China for years. If Snowden were to defect, what would the Chinese want most from him?
What the Chinese don't have is they don't have a knowledge of where we've been successful, whose phone has been hacked, whose computer has been hacked. They don't know that. And so if he can tell them places, specific places that have been hacked, they can go and close off the source.
We called and emailed the Chinese embassy in Washington, asking if their government has made contact with Snowden and if he wanted asylum, would they grant it? They didn't respond.
So U.S. officials in Washington still monitoring this situation, trying to find out where Edward Snowden is, and of course monitoring what systems he might have knowledge of that the U.S. may have hacked into in China, what military officials they might have targeted in China, and if he's going to give it to the Chinese. Jessica.
I love that you emailed the Chinese embassy because
yes.
I'm sure they didn't respond, but I'm sure the NSA monitored it, maybe
yeah,
the DOJ.
They might have tapped into it.
Hear from
right.
Holder or something.
Right.
How about other U.S. rivals? Is there any reason to believe he would go to Iran or Russia, or that they'd accept him if he tried?
Those are real concerns among U.S. officials because everyone wants to get their hands on this guy. And an Iranian official at the UN told me this is, quote, a ridiculous idea and not even worth an answer. But that's just what they're saying. However, an official at the Russian embassy here reiterated what Vladimir Putin's spokesman said a few days ago, that if he wants asylum in Russia, they would consider it. I mean, it's pretty much a signal. If you want to come here, we'll take your information. A lot of people want to get their hands on him.
Interesting.